Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Psalms 37, verses 1, 3 through 5. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be you envious against the workers of iniquity. Trust in Yahweh and do good, so shall you dwell in the land, and verily you shall be fed. Delight thyself also in Yahweh, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way unto Yahweh, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, fully committed.
All that I am and all that I hope to be, all of my desires and all of my abilities, I'm fully committed to your will and to your way. I'll make the sacrifice to do what you ask of me. My love's forever. Yahweh, you're all that I need, and I can never repay what you did just for me. So the least I can do
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. That all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as become saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath Day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. Now, it is written in Jeremiah 17 that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, Yahweh, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. The biggest confusion that is there is we don't know the fruit of our doings, and we don't really see according to our ways. See, there's one way that looks a certain way to us. It never does occur to us that it doesn't appear like that to everybody else who's witnessing that. Proverbs 18 says, a fool has no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. One of the things that we are taught, especially in this land, to follow your heart. It seems like some grandiose thing that allows us to step on whatever culture we encounter as long as we follow our heart. And it sounds magical. But what we have to understand is a lot of people have been murdered because of somebody else following their heart. It says they gave a nice little name for their desire to conquer all of this land. That they had a righteous avenue to get it. It was their manifest destiny. Okay, that sounds better than coveting. All right, when somebody says it was my manifest destiny to conquer all this land. So what happens when the individual says, I was following my heart and I took your car because it was my manifest destiny that I have that car. Now, well, you know, they sell those at the dealership. So you should have manifest destined down there to Lou Saab over there, because he would have sold you one. You understand? But when we give nice little terms and people say, you know, just follow your heart, we don't consider all of the culture that we're stepping on to so-called follow our heart. And a lot of damage has been done in the name of following one's heart. Let's begin today's sermon in Habakkuk chapter 2. And we're going to read verses 1 through 20. And today's sermon is entitled, Answering a Man According to His Heart. Answering a man according to his heart.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what shall I answer when I am reproved? And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Our biggest mistake is to believe that Yahweh is so all-knowing and that he is going to micromanage everything. We figure if he didn't stop it, it's because he didn't see it. He says, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that they may run and read it. For the vision is yet for appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. At the end. He's not going to keep jumping in to stop the process. And this is how we operate. And we figure if a process is not stopped, we mustn't understand. Do you think Yahweh don't understand what's going on? Yahweh watched as an individual plotted to steal Naboth's vineyard and sat right there and said, look at him plotting to kill him. Oh, look at the plan. Oh, look at how they move. You know when Yahweh comes in? Write what he said. In the end, it shall speak. So right when they go down there to get the vineyard, then Yahweh sent his servant. Go down there and talk to your boy. So I see you've killed and you came to collect. Well, Yahweh was there the whole time. But he ain't talking until the end. We think because he hasn't said anything that he is in approval of all of the things that are happening. This is why we have to pause every now and then and do some checks to see, how does my Elohim feel about this? And sometimes we go forward with some things, we ain't even ask Yahweh nothing. Did we even pray about it? We pray when it don't work out. But did you pray before you got into it? Did you say, Yahweh my Elohim, this is what I desire in my heart, but is this right? Would you please direct me in dealing with this? It was in the heart of Dawid to build a house. The prophet said, Yahweh done let you do everything else you wanted to do. Go build a house. Then Yahweh got to speak to that prophet. Now go back and fix what you said, because he shall not build me a house. Now the prophet had no reason to believe that he wouldn't. And what haven't you gave this dude, man? You love this guy. What haven't you gave him? He can't build a house. This is not about what's in his heart. See, now we got to dwell according to knowledge now. This is not about what's in your heart. Look, David shed too much blood. He cannot build the house. Not about how I feel about King David. He said, I found me a man after my own heart, but he still can't build a house. It ain't about how I feel. It's about something bigger than that, how I feel. And we keep making all our decisions based on how we feel. What do you know about the situation? Take your feelings and put them up down that third shelf. I ain't telling you not to deal with them, but you need to put them aside for a second. Now figure out, what do you know about that situation? Instead of letting the feelings drive the vehicle. This is how we go in and try to save people who half the time don't want to be saved. But our feelings said, this is right. Not it was right by intellectual thought. It was right by how we feel. Then you go through all of that, save that person, and 2 days later, they're exactly back where you saved them from. You wasn't thinking about the knowledge of the situation. You let your heart drive. Now your heart going to have to keep driving you to the same place over and over and over again. Right. Go ahead, Bree.
Verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not right in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keeps at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. It gathers on to him all nations, and heaps on to him all people.
Right. This is the way of this nation that we have been taught, to go out and conquer as many things as you can. The world is yours. And when we're taught this, we go out in the world and try to obtain this. Go ahead.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite you, and awake that shall vex you, and you shall be for booties unto them? Because you have spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil you, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that covets an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. You have consulted shame to your house by cutting off many people, and has sinned against your soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that builds a town with blood, and establishes a city by lawlessness. Behold, is it not of Yahweh of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yah, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that gives his neighbor drink, that putteth your bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that you may look on their nakedness.
Now, you can look at this naturally, or you can look at this spiritually when you look at how the foreign policy of this nation is that countries that they don't like, they basically hit them with this wine of blockades against the very minerals that they have. They're not able to sell it. Yet, no matter what atrocities happen here, they are never forbidden to sell and buy. We're able to sell and buy all over the world. No matter what atrocities, no matter how many people have been killed. And you have to consider some of that when another country is told, you may be rich in oil, but we have decided that you can't sell the oil because we don't like how you treat your people. Well, people don't like how you treat yours. That didn't stop you from selling anything. This is that part where you impose something on your neighbor, but that same thing is not imposed upon you. It's a problem. And it's like being in one of them sports games where the bad calls help you. You don't argue about the bad call that helped you. You argue about the bad call that hurts you. And for a long time, we've benefited from bad calls. But sooner or later, one is going to have to go against you. Go ahead.
You are filled with you are filled with shame for glory. Drink you also, and let your foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yah's right hand shall be turned onto you, and shameful spewing shall be on your glory.
Right. If those people can't sell their goods because they mistreat their people, then you should not be able to sell your goods because you mistreat your people. We're talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and places like that have never been addressed. They are literally waiting till every last surviving member dies before they address it. And it's throwing them off because the people involved in the Tulsa riots, man, they living to like 109. They sitting there like, when y'all gonna die? They are trying their best. They do not want to get, this is how this place operates. We will not allow you to triumph of allowing you to live to see when we apologize for what we have done. And they just sitting there, and these people, they keep living. And they don't want to acknowledge it. And we're talking about airplanes dropped barrel bombs and burned all kind of areas. Yet, another country had just been threatened. If you don't stop hurting protesters, we're gonna send soldiers. Why you didn't send none of them to Tulsa, Oklahoma? Why you didn't send them to all those other places? Why you didn't send them to them cities that are at the bottom of Lake Lanier? Okay, go ahead.
For the violence of Lebanon shall cover you, and the spoil of beasts which made them afraid, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and of all that dwell therein. What profits the graven image that the maker thereof has graven it, the molten image, and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusted therein, to make dumb idols? Woe unto him that says to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise. It shall teach, behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. Yahweh is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him.
All right. Now, just there are various parts within here where we deal with, but woe to him that increases that which is not his. When we start breaking down some of what's happening, we have to consider that this is where we dwell. Brother, go to the next graphic, and I want you to read about Venezuela first.
Venezuela, it's been a whirlwind year for Venezuela, and it's just getting started. Over the weekend, the U.S. launched an incursion into Caracas, capturing the nation's president, Nicolas Maduro, and leaving the country in a state of uncertainty over its political and economic future.
Which is, first of all, unheard of, that you go in and take a leader. You need to understand just how bold, this is. Go ahead.
The operation was the culmination of a months-long military pressure campaign by the Trump administration, which had been framed as an effort to stymie drug trafficking and so-called narco-terrorism. In the days since, the U.S. has asserted control over the direction of Venezuela's governance and its crude oil industry.
So the issue was about drugs in the beginning, and now they have taken control of the crude oil. And understand, they had the largest deposit in the whole world of oil. But part of that is because it was already blocked from being able to be sold with the sanctions. So that very thing is what helped cripple the economy. And a lot of times when the West does something, it will create a problem and then create a solution to the problem. So now they're going to go in with the solution. They've taken over, and the people are definitely going to live better. But part of that is because it was also being blocked by the same people who now are in control of it. So from the angle of the people, they're going to definitely see their life be better. Because it wasn't just the situation of what they saw. they had all of these resources that they could not sell. And it doesn't do anything if you have all of these great things that you can't get to the market. So that was one thing. Go to the next graphic for me.
We need to own Greenland for our national security. U.S. President Donald Trump insists his country needs to acquire Greenland for national security reasons and has not ruled out using military force. While a possible purchase was also been suggested, Trump says he plans to take control of the island the easy way or the hard way.
Now, one of the things that's interesting is it's not enough money for Social Security, it's not enough money for child care, it's not enough money for all of these things. But you know what? Let's buy a country. Let's buy a country. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? There's too many government workers. We know there's too many of them. Get rid of them. But you know what? I've been looking at that Greenland. Now, I don't know if when you say Greenland, I know some of y'all have never seen Greenland on the map, so you think it's green. There is nothing green in Greenland. All right? It's an oxymoron. It's like a big dude named Tiny. Okay? All right? The place is full of ice. They have long blocks of where it's completely dark. They have their, like, polar night, where it's nighttime in the daytime. And you have to deal with that for about 2 months or so. Then after that, you go into a period where it don't get dark. So the place is utterly confused. It's daytime in the nighttime, and then it's nighttime in the daytime. But we need it. I declare we need it. That's interesting. And there's no apologies or no anything. It says his demands have been rejected by Greenland's leaders and by NATO member Denmark, of which the island is a semi-autonomous territory. So, in explanation, some more Gentiles said, we already conquered that. So you can't reconquer what we done already conquered. But they're supposed to be in an alliance together. So by attacking a member that's in the same group, you risk the chance of destroying the group. But what if that is the objective? What if that is the actual objective? Like, it's not an accident. This destroys it. And what if somebody else is kind of pulling the strings so that the great America will be left out there on her own? What if that is the plan? And honestly, people you may not like, Donald Trump, but he is the leader that America deserves. He says exactly how they feel, but they were just afraid to say it. You might not like him, but he has been, the most honest of those, except for the Epsteins, the most straightforward with his actions of anybody else that's been in there. They're going to have a time trying to undo everything that he has done because he's been on the move. So you might not like the way he does what he does, but he represents the feeling that they believe that they're greater than everybody else. And he doesn't apologize when he says it. Go to the next graphic for me.
Iran. Iranian authorities say they have arrested 279 people they allege are affiliated with riot organizations linked to Israel and the United States.
Now, people say that and then there was a statement that says if you hurt these protesters, we gonna come in and deal with you. But then there are people that saying the folk who hurting them just so happen to look like y'all. Go ahead.
The chief of the Iranian Public Security Police, Faraja, announced the arrest of 279 thugs and troublemakers, according to a report on the Telegram account of the Iranian state broadcaster IRIB. Throughout the recent weeks of unrest, Iranian officials have accused the U.S. and Israel of inciting instability in the country and referred to the protesters as vandals.
And that is their accusation about how or what is happening there. Go to the next graphic.
Syria and Turkey. In a statement published on his official X account, Graham said, "I completely endorse and support Senator Rick's call for calm in Syria, putting the new Syrian government on notice that human rights abuses against minorities will not be tolerated."
I'm sorry. It's hard for me to read this with a straight face. But that civil rights abuses against minorities will not be tolerated in your country. So what? So we ain't gonna do nothing else. One. Go ahead.
Most disturbing of all is that I am getting what I believe to be credible reports that Syrian army forces in Turkey may be advancing further against our Kurdish allies, a move that I believe would invoke a strong reaction from the United States.
Pause. Greenland is an ally. Is a NATO member. Just so we can put that in the pot. Go ahead.
Graham added that while he was prepared to give the new Syrian government an opportunity, any attack on Kurdish forces would be unacceptable. He wrote, "While I support giving this new Syrian government a chance, I will not tolerate or accept a brazen attack against our Kurdish allies."
I will not tolerate or accept very strong language. It's amazing at the things that were able to happen here. They attacked the capital of the United States. There's nothing more synonymous with the country than the capital. Not only was that allowed, all of the people who got arrested were pardoned. But they will not tolerate these things in other countries. That's like me coming in your house. I will not allow you to walk around in here with your shoes on. This ain't your damn house. Don't tell me I'm going to walk around my house. I have declared. Go ahead.
Who are the main force in destroying the ISIS caliphate. He concluded his statement with a direct message to the Syrian government and to Turkey: choose wisely.
Now, this is just some of the conflicts that are all going on all at the same time. Still things going on all in other places, all at the same time. These are not like, issues like one started and then another one, and then after they finish. No, all of these things are ongoing right now. And there are more. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. And let's read verses 1 through 14.
And Yahshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahshua said unto them, See you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? And Yahshua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Right. So what we're watching is pre-war logistics. These events are meant to put themselves in order for some greater conflict. See, China is set on taking Taiwan, which all we can really do is throw money at the situation, which is not going to ultimately win that battle. Because they don't want to directly engage until the full war starts. They do not want to fully engage. Same thing that's happening in Ukraine. They're throwing money at the problem because they don't want to fully engage Russia. These are nuclear powers, okay? So you can say whatever you want to say. They have a button that can take care of the business. So they don't want to fully engage these countries until they have no choice. So they'll get near them and start putting money and influence into a country that's close to them. So now maybe the Greenland part starts to make a little bit more sense. If someone else was to get close to these countries that are close to this land, then you have a much easier place to hit it. So something else was also put out that, Mexico and other countries need to watch out because that also may be taken. So you have, these are the pre-war logistics where you start building up things before the war starts. Now, Venezuela, with all of that oil, they were sending a lot of that to China. So by disrupting that, you can disrupt what China needs. China, by taking Taiwan has all the computer chips. Then you disrupt what America needs. So in some instances, some countries are just in a position that they are about to get conquered, not because of anything they have done, but because of their relationship to a greater power. Those are the things that we are witnessing. Go ahead.
Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because lawlessness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Right, but they still believe that they're following their heart. The love of many has waxed cold, but it's their heart that told them that they have the right to be cold. And they feel justified because their only measuring rule is their heart. My heart says go out and do this. My heart says go to this place. My heart says go to that place. We're just following our heart. But how did that stuff get in there? That's the question that we don't ask. All right? We say, I'm following my heart. All right, well, where your heart get it from? See, somebody put some ideas in there that start twirling around. And a lot of times, the heart that we say we following is somebody else's desire before us. See, things that parents can't achieve, they put them thoughts in their kids' head. Then the kids go out and say, I'm going to follow my heart. Yeah, your heart came from the mind of the person who couldn't do it before you. Now you following your heart to go and do all of these things. That ain't your heart, that's theirs. But you don't know no better because you always thought it and you always felt it because it was told to you from an infant. Go ahead.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
All right. Where you at?
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
This gospel shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. If it's a witness unto all nations, they have the opportunity to accept or reject. We keep thinking that it's our job to make somebody understand something. That is not your job. Preach the gospel. Whether or not they adhere to it, that ain't got nothing to do with you. You overstating your importance in this situation. Speak the word. That is not your job to get them to either confirm or deny. But they have to have heard it. That is the key thing. Let's go to Jonah chapter 1.
Now the word of Yahweh came on to Jonah the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee on to Tarshish from the presence of Yah, and went down to Joppa. And he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of Yah. But Yahweh sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid, and cried every man unto his God, and cast forth the wares that were in the ship into the sea, to lighten it of them. But Jonah was gone down into the sides of the ship, and he lay and was fast asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So the shipmaster came to him, and said unto him, What meaneth you, O sleeper? Arise, call upon your El.
Now, what? Hey, look here, old sleeper. The ship about to turn over. How is it we going through all this turmoil, and you over here with a pacifier in your mouth? What is happening right here? You ever notice the individuals who brought the turmoil is the calmest individual in the turmoil? See, this is how we don't notice the operations and the movement of the Spirit. You looking at everybody who walking around and they doing all of this stuff. The turmoil is because of the sleeping dude. He not running around. He not doing any of that stuff. Correct?
If so be, that El will think upon us, that we may that we perish not. And they said, every one to his fellow, Come, and let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is come upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell upon Jonah. Then said they unto him, Tell us, we pray you, for whose cause this evil is upon us? What is your occupation? And whence cometh you? What is your country? And of what people are you? And he said unto them,
Now, how many times do we get to a point where we ask those questions? Because, see,
It's told us, you just accept everybody. See, the world is love, and you have to learn how to love. You have to learn how to love the whole world.
No. Well, right now, we got some turmoil going on, and I need to know some things. Hey, what your job is? All right, what's your occupation? All right, now, where you come from? All right, what's your country? And who your people? Who your folks is? All right, I need some answers. But no, we too busy trying to be politically correct, and we about to die for something that ain't got nothing to do with us. But we too scared to ask the question. See, we worried about how disruptive the response is going to be. So if they cuss you out, and you ain't never been cussed out before. So, the first job my elder gave me, he said, I want you to run my media department. And he said, look here, the first thing we got to do is we got to get this makeup off these sisters. I said, that sounds like a really good plan, elder. But the one who wears all the makeup, well, let me put it this way. She wake up next to you. So what I'm saying is, that seems like a mission from hell. So he said, yeah, right. I said, well, another question. I got another question. Okay. All right, I got another question. So let's say, per se, that this situation happens to go, say it's sour. And we cool, right? Yeah, we cool. All right, then. Well, let's go ahead and take care of the business. All right. I went and did it. She no doubt cussed me out. No doubt cussed me out, threw some food toward me. But you know what? I lived. It was a miracle. I lived. When she cussed, my heart didn't stop. When she threw the peas and carrots, whatever the hell that was, I was still living. And went on to do great things. Won't he do it? Okay. Read.
And he said unto them, I'm in Hebrew, and I fear Yahweh, the Elohim of heaven, which has made the sea and the dry land. Then were the men exceedingly afraid, and said unto him, Why have you done this? For the men knew that he fled from the presence of Yah, because he had told them. Then said they unto him, What shall we do unto you, that the sea may be calm unto us? For the sea rots, and was tempestuous. And he said unto them, Take me up and cast me forth into the sea, so shall the sea be calm unto you. For I know that for my sake this great tempest is upon you.
I know that for my sake this great trouble is upon you. Now, you might not respect this, but that was a great admission. Let me tell you something. Sometimes people will know that the turmoil is because of them and sit right there and look you right in your face.
I don't know why this is happening.
Well, I'm looking at the papers and it's got your name on it. What do you mean you don't know why it's happening? Okay. Jump to chapter 3 and start at verse 1.
And the word of Yahweh came unto Jonah the second time, saying, Arise, go unto Nineveh.
Now, his whole problem was he did not want to go to Nineveh because he did not want them to repent. See, there are certain situations where we have already had a thought process about something. And that process is, and maybe he suffered something in that. And we all go through situations like that. But everybody has to have the opportunity to repent. Now, how can they have that opportunity if they have not heard? But what we'll do is go an extra mile to try to help a situation. Wait a minute. He's doing what he's supposed to do as far as Yahweh, go to the people and talk to them. I ask you to make them listen. I ask you to do nothing. Just go and speak the word. We have opportunity to hear the word. What we do is turn the word off so we can go hear something else. Go ahead.
Arise, go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid you.
Yahweh ain't got to even do that. All he got to do is wake up and tell you,
You know what? Turn on the internet right now.
hey, he had to go and send a man. Go down there and talk. Yahweh don't have to do none of that for you. Wake up right now. Go right here. Now just sit right there in front of that computer. That's all I need you to do. Yahweh made it so easy for us, we can watch the message in our jammies. Just sit right there. We haven't lacked the opportunity. See, we like to put ourselves in the same position as some of these people. No, somebody had to physically go to those people. No, we know where it's at and we know where to find it. Go ahead.
So Jonah arose and went on to Nineveh, according to the word of Yahweh. Now Nineveh was an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey. And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey. And he cried and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. So the people of Nineveh believed Elohim and proclaimed the fast and put on sackcloth, from the greatest of them even to the least of them.
Now, it's funny when somebody does a job and they're automatically sabotaging the job. He doesn't want the people to repent. It's funny that we spend our whole time trying to get somebody to listen to us and then get mad when they listen to us.
Yet 40 days and Nineveh shall be destroyed.
Hey, we hear you.
Why now? Why are you hearing me now?
Wait a minute. This is your job to speak to us. Go ahead.
For the word came unto the king of Nineveh, and he arose from his throne, and he laid his robe from him, and covered him with sackcloth, and sat in ashes.
He is repenting. But see, repentance looks a certain way. We too proud. See, the whole part of sackcloth and ashes was to take away the comfort of our existence. Sackcloth is like the sack that they carry potatoes in. It's real rough, itchy. Burlap sack, if you will. Then the ashes disfigure your look. So the vanity of your appearance is not able to go forth. So you took away your comfort and your look to show your heartfelt sorrow according to what you have done. That's what this is about. And we're talking about a vain king does this as soon as he hears that there's destruction coming because of their deeds. He didn't stay in his vanity. And that's the difference between whether or not we're going to get redemption or not. Do we stay in it when we hear it, when it is brought to us? Or do we fight the entire world before we accept it? We get caught in the cookie jar with the cookies in our hand. Cookie is running down our cheek. They say, you have got the cookie. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. The first 5 minutes is arguing, trying to explain how we had right to the cookie. Right. Valuable repenting time is being lost because we're trying to explain our right to the cookie. Go ahead.
And he caused it to be proclaimed and published through Nineveh by the decree of the king and his nobles, saying that neither man nor beast, herd nor flock, taste anything. Let them not feed nor drink water. But let man and beast be covered with sackcloth, and cry mightily unto Elohim.
All right, now he's trying to get some situations right. He said, look, don't even feed the animal. They gonna fast too. I mean, how you gonna make the animals fast? They eat grass. Well, put them where the dirt is. They ain't gonna eat the dirt. Go ahead.
Yea, let them turn everyone from his evil way and from the violence that is in their hands.
So when you're in control of a situation, it matters how you operate. Because when the leader says, let everybody turn, when he has covered himself in sackcloth and ashes, understand something. These are people who are evil. But he didn't tell them people to go do it while he sat in the palace in his silk.
Y'all need to go ahead, and I'm talking about y'all need to fast. My goodness, what is this? Good God, this feels amazing.
That's not what he did. You may call this place and say, these are wicked people. But look at how the wicked respond when they realize they're out of the way. We have to ask ourselves, do we do that? We're supposed to be seeking after righteousness. Do we do that? Or we still enjoy every bit of comfort that we have while still standing in the wrong? Right. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, he also didn't just go do sackcloth and ashes on his own, trying to preserve his own life and his own family and forget everybody else.
Right.
Because we saw what Joel Osteen, when he finally told his audience, his people he'd been eating clean. How long?
About 3-4 years. 3-4 years. He then told them he was eating according to the dietary laws in the law, Deuteronomy and Leviticus. I said, man, get out of here. 4 years you been doing that? So you mean tell me y'all had a collard green and ham hock line, but you yourself wasn't eating the collard green that was cooked with? Come on, bro. Come on, man. That deep, right? 4 years? You know how long 4 years is? That you looking at somebody eat a pork chop in your church? And you ain't saying nothing, but you ain't gonna touch it. What it say? Drink you also. Let your skin be uncovered. You go ahead and get drunk too. Why you feeding that to them? Right. Go ahead.
Who can tell if Elohim will turn and repent and turn away from his fierce anger, that we perish not? And Elohim saw their works, that they turned from their evil way. And Elohim repented of the evil that he had said that he would do unto them, and he did it not.
So then that repenting caused them to avert this big judgment that's coming unto them. It was able to be stopped because of their actions. We have to consider just how great that is that we have this opportunity that if we deal with this the right way, that then this judgment, which, by the way, we deserve this judgment. Understand something. Everything that they said they did it. Ain't nobody lied on them and said, you know what? You know, and Nineveh, they be doing those things, and them says a lie. Nineveh didn't waste no time trying to explain how they didn't do it. See, this is valuable repenting time that we miss. Because we have to explain. No, you don't understand. See, I didn't kill those people out of anger. See, I killed them because I needed to. See, now we're going to explain. Even when we know we caught, we still explaining instead of repenting. Now, the more we try to explain, the deeper we keep getting in this hole. And we don't know it. Because eventually, you're going to realize all this dirt that done covered you, but it's all your dirt. Nobody was throwing the dirt. You threw the dirt, trying to dig yourself out of a hole, and you got further into the hole than you were at the beginning. Nineveh wasted no time doing that. Get right to the point. Let's repent. We have done all those things that they said we did. Everything they said we did it. Go ahead.
But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry. And he prayed unto Yahweh and said, I pray you, O Yahweh, was not this my saying when I was yet in my country? Therefore I fled before unto Tarshish.
Now, this is why I didn't listen to you to start with. Because you be out there showing people grace and mercy. Ain't nobody got time for that. No, because we want the grace and mercy just for us. We want all the grace and mercy. Matter of fact, if you give it to them, Yahweh, you're going to run out. I need it. So nobody else needs grace and mercy, just you? Go ahead.
For I knew that you are a gracious Elohim and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth you of the evil. Therefore now, O Yahweh, take, I beseech you, my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live.
So, because these other people have been forgiven, now kill me. Now let me die, because I don't want them to be forgiven. Now that's a strong stance right there. Woe is me, for they have been forgiven. Go ahead. And this is Yahweh he's talking to, no doubt. I'm saying he ain't talking to one of his partners. Go ahead.
Then said Yahweh, does you well to be angry. So Jonah went out of the city and sat on the east side of the city, and there made him a booth.
Now, Yahweh is asking a serious question because he's about to deal with it. Are you right to be angry? Because understand now, we spend most of the time trying to explain how our wrong was right. So the question, doeth you well to be angry? Now he about to deal with the question that he asked. Go ahead.
And sat under it in the shadow till he might see what would become of the city. And Yahweh Elohim prepared a gourd and made it to come up over Jonah, that it might be a shadow over his head, to deliver him from his grief. So Jonah was exceeding glad of the gourd.
So he's taking him on this high, right? He's taking him on this high, giving him a gourd that he ain't built, he ain't do nothing for. It was given to him to give him a shadow from the heat. Now understand, he's only there so he can see what happens to the city. So this ain't part of the job. This is his own doing. Go ahead.
But Elohim prepared a worm when the morning rose the next day, and it smote the gourd that it withered.
Now, so the same one that produced the gourd also produced something that destroyed the gourd. Okay, go ahead.
And it came to pass, when the sun did arise, that Elohim prepared a vehement east wind, and the sun beat upon the head of Jonah, that he fainted and wished in himself to die.
Well, he got a lot of death wishes going on. He got that soon as things don't work out in his favor. Oh, I just should be dead. Soon as it don't work out, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Look, the gourd that he didn't build. Oh, I should die. Go ahead.
And said, it is better for me to die than to live.
Uh-huh.
Elohim said to Jonah, does you well to be angry for the gourd?
Here we go with the original question. See, before he says, do if you well to be angry. Now he presented a situation. Now the question, do you well to be angry for the gourd? See, he couldn't say that part of the question because he ain't created it yet. So Yahweh asked you a part question. You think that's the whole question. That ain't the whole question because he ain't showed you the rest of it yet. Do if you well to be angry? Then next it comes out, do you well to be angry for the gourd? Now you're hearing the full question. Go ahead.
And he said, I do well to be angry, even unto death.
I do well even unto death. He ain't stopping his death sentence. He's down with death. One thing about him, he down to die. Now he don't know what he gonna live for, but damn it, he ready to die. Go ahead.
Then said Yahweh, you have had pity on the gourd, for the which you have not labored.
You had pity on something. You ain't put none of that together. Go ahead.
Neither made it grow, which came up in a night and perished in a night. And should not I spare Nineveh, that great city?
Pause. He said, them people I made. You had pity on something that you didn't have nothing to do with. I didn't just make you. I made them too. So should I go ahead and kill them because you don't want them to repent? Go ahead.
Wherein are more than 60,000 persons that cannot discern between their right hand and their left hand, and also much cattle?
Wait a minute. They cannot discern between their left hand and their right hand. He said, look here, man, I know it's a great city, but Nineveh's slow. They done parted so much they can't see the forest for the trees. Shouldn't I have some kind of compassion on them if they try? We have to ask ourselves, what does a try look like to us in this day and time with all of the things that we possess? We have to consider, what all did we do and how detail-oriented were we when we did wrong? So what makes you think you can halfway do right and he supposed to accept that? Right. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3. See, he remember how detailed we were in wrongdoing. First Peter chapter 3. And let's read verses 1 through 7.
Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that, if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
Now, the problem is, what is the wife talking about? And what happened if the wife have a bad conversation or a bad oral and you get convinced to follow it? Because, you know, we don't answer a whole lot of questions when it comes from Sugar Booger. We don't ask a whole lot of questions. Now, if it's something out on the street, we ask all kind of questions. Where that come from? Where'd you get it? What it made out of? No. When Sugar Booger bring it and just sit it down in front of us, we gobble it up because we figure she must know what things I can and can't eat. What things I can and cannot deal with. What are we being won over with? And how easy is it for us to be won? Strongest man in the world, all he had to do was get nagged. And he gave up every bit of everything. Told his whole life. All she needed to do was to be consistent. Go ahead.
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Elohim of great price. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also, who trusted in Elohim, adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him master, whose daughters you are, as long as you do well, and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Now, here is where we start getting into some interesting subject matter. Likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. What do you know? What do you know about how things operate? Not what somebody wants or desire out of you. What do you know? Sometimes somebody wants something that ain't good for them. What do you know? Deal with that according to knowledge. You can give somebody something that they asked for, knowing that they're not ready for it, and then that thing end up destroying them. Did you deal with them according to your heart, or did you deal with them according to knowledge? See, Yahweh gonna deal with his wife according to knowledge. Yahweh not dealing with us according to his heart. None of the things that you witness that Yahweh ends up dealing with his wife is because, I love you so much. That's why I just love you. So I'm going to let you do such and such. No. He dwells with Israel according to knowledge. Now, look, I done gave you this. I done gave you that. Now, I done told you now. Now, I'm going to tell you again. You know what? I'm going to tell you one more time. All right, you know what? Going on over there. Okay. Go ahead.
Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
That your prayers be not hindered. So if you are operating out of your heart and not dwelling according to knowledge, you might end up in a situation where your prayers become hindered. Now, when we're operating out of emotion, you wonder what someone else can do to make you feel better about the situation that you're in. When you are dwelling with someone according to knowledge, you look at what you can do to rectify the feeling that you have. Yahweh dwells with us according to knowledge, not out of the emotional connection that he has to us. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 16. And no doubt he's emotionally connected to Israel. He says, I have graven you upon the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. There is no doubt an emotional connection, but he's not dealing with us according to the emotional connection. So Yahweh may see us operating in something and tell us before. That's the whole part about having a prophet. I'm going to tell you how you're moving. And we deny everything until it happens. Say, well, the greatness of Yahweh said, you know what? I ain't going to stop it, though. I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to watch it go all the way down. Because see, there's certain little things that we are doing that's leading towards something, and we don't want to acknowledge that part. And Yahweh has to sit there and look at his people and say, I'm telling you what this is going to end up in. This is why he made Moshe go and learn and be raised in the house of the Egyptians. So everything they get ready to do, you going to know what they doing before they do it. And when you say it, they going to cuss you out. Go ahead, get cussed out. You still live? You got to understand who was able to eat those eggs. See there. But having that sometimes is a burden, because until that comes to pass, how are the people looking at you? How difficult must it have been to be a prophet? There's nothing written. They are saying things that nobody can verify. They all sound like liars. You saying all of this stuff? Okay, go ahead, Bruce.
You know, Elder, one thing about it is, you know, conversational wise, you know, we don't realize that we all set each other up for a fall that's coming, where everything needs to be explained and everything, you got to go through this rigmarole to get something done sometimes. And we don't understand there's going to come a time when Yahweh going to say, do this now. And everybody going to be shocked. Why you being rude? Why you being mean? You don't understand sense of urgency? The sense of urgency at some point is what's going to save your life or save somebody else's life. But because we've all gotten into this, I need to know, explain it to me, talk to me slowly. No, sometimes there's a sense of urgency, and that's what's coming our way with our Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a sense of urgency when he say move. You just going to have to move, or you're going to die where you standing.
Brother, there might be some situations that we already done passed that we were supposed to urgently deal with.
Yep.
And see, we look at some of those things and, I got time. And then the bill come due. And now you're looking back. Oh, it's interest charges on this. Why is the interest charges? No, man, I told you this 4 years ago. No. And now all the accrued interest is also due. Wait a minute, this didn't cost but this much. No, but you kept waiting. See? And while you kept waiting, interest charges kept adding up because now I got to get this person to take care of that. I got to get this person to take care of that. I got to get this. Don't you think I got to pay all those people? All them people got to get paid for their work. See? He said, look, I'm the spiritual bank, and the spiritual bank got to pay them. So I got to take that out because, see, you didn't have this in your spiritual account. So I had to get from my spiritual account and pay them for all of these things that you kept sitting on. And each time we're waiting to get a little bit more information before we deal with it. We got 12 years of information. I just need a little bit more information. Damn it, you got over a decade. Well, how much more you need? So, but these are things that didn't cost us our life. So we don't think that that's serious yet. What's going to get our attention is when it starts being a situation where it costs people their lives. Then they will understand. As long as we're able to get up and go back to our business the next day, we ain't worried about it. Deuteronomy chapter 16, let's start at verse 18.
Judges and officers shall you make you in all your gates, which Yahweh Elohim gives you, throughout your tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You shall not wrest judgment, you shall not respect persons, neither take a gift, for a gift does blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous.
Right, and a gift can be anything, just acceptance of that person. Just that, you know what, this person is close to me in my family. This is somebody that I love. So I'm not going to deal with them the same way I would deal with that person over there. And Yahweh has already found a fault in our judgment. He has already found a fault in our judgment. Not that we had dealt with the other individual wrong. No. Everything you told them was right. What made it wrong is that you didn't tell it to them. That's wrong. They were right when you did it. It's wrong now. Because another situation came and you didn't do the same thing. That's what just judgment is about. Go ahead.
That which is altogether just shall you follow, that you may live, and inherit the land which Yahweh Elohim gives you. You shall not plant you a grove of any trees near unto the altar of Yahweh Elohim, which you shall make you. Neither shall you set you up any image which Yahweh Elohim hates.
Any image that Yahweh Elohim hates, you need to hate it too. So if we hate it, how are we still cool with it? How you still cool? If you hate it, there should be some action that shows that you hate it. Well, why are you so cool? The image that your Elohim hate, he look up and you kicking it with it. You hanging out. Oh, okay. So you don't hate it then. Go ahead.
You shall not sacrifice unto Yahweh your Elohim any bullock or sheep, wherein is blemish, or any evil favoredness, for that is an abomination unto Yahweh your Elohim.
Every work that we do around here is a offering unto our Elohim. And if you do it half-cocked, then you offered a blemished sacrifice. He said, "You know what? We're gonna vacuum this floor."
You know, I mean, I just you know what? Most of the people just walk straight toward the door. So just vacuum the line by the door.
Heavy traffic area.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where all the traffic goes, right there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody go in between those chairs. I mean, it barely even smell like feet over there.
Right. Go ahead.
If there be found among you, within any of your gates which Yahweh Elohim gives you, man or woman, that has wrought wickedness in the sight of Yahweh Elohim, in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon, or any of the hosts of heaven which I have not commanded. And it be told you, and you have heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shall you bring forth that man or that woman, which has committed that wicked thing, onto your gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die.
Wait a minute. We have been raised in hypocrisy. Part of what you're hearing that comes from the foreign policy of this land is they said, look, if you hurt those minorities, if you hurt, these people, we're going to come over and we're going to do something. It has been said that these people are committing war crimes. Now, it's funny because all of that was just said against another country whom we gave them all the weapons to actually perform the war crimes. But none of that comes into the discussion. But the so-called war crimes of somebody else, we're going to go and bring more war if you don't stop that. There's something wrong with the judgment. When you make yourself a world court, that you're the hammer of the whole earth, and you're going to do the judgment, it's going to stick out when the judgment, it goes forth really strong on the right side, and then it's absolutely non-existent on the left. It's going to show. Go ahead.
At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So shall you put the evil away from among you.
Right. Our problem is we don't want to lay hands on nobody. See, we want to be protected in that point. We want to have the neutral standpoint. Now, sometimes Yahweh allows something out of the way to come upon you so that he can prove to those that stand by that you are going to operate according to righteousness, even if it's uncomfortable. It becomes uncomfortable to someone we're close to. The acceptance of other individuals is the gift that has become the blinder to our eyes and then ends up perverting judgment. Let's go to Daniel chapter 4. Sometimes Yahweh wants to see if you are willing to stand by yourself. A lot of us can stand if everybody stand with us. But sometimes Yahweh is already picking the next person for the job because he wants. He had me go before that church. I didn't understand that situation when I went and they had the little prophet up there and I had to pay the little $1,000. He made me stand by myself The whole front row, everybody passing out. And I like, no, I don't do that right now. And he can tell that everybody wanted me, look, just do what everybody else doing. I'm not doing that. Sometimes you're making a decision and Yahweh is making a decision. All right, you next. I had to do that in front of a whole church Sunday morning and a packed balcony. And everybody looking at me. Why are you the only one that didn't hit the floor? Everybody else passed out except you. And I don't know nothing about this word. Nothing. But that right there didn't look right with them laying on that floor right now. I said, somebody did don't look right. But I knew it wasn't right when I felt that person pull me from the back, and I knew for a fact it was a show. And now they done revealed to me that it's a show. Now I become the enemy. Because now I know, and them up front, they know I know. Sometimes Yahweh want to see, you going to go along with everybody else? Or you going to be uncomfortable and do everything? I had every opportunity to renegotiate my stance. Because when I didn't go down the first time, he squeezed a little harder on my temples and started shaking my head. And the other guy's pulling even harder. Now, come on, to the point where I just got to bow him. And, hey, man, stop pulling me. Yahweh want to know, hey, this road may get difficult. Are you going to stand if everybody else decide they're going to sit down? Sometimes we think a trial is somebody else's. And the whole time it was us that Yahweh was testing, not the other folks. Daniel chapter 4, let's start at verse 19.
Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble you. Belteshazzar answered and said, My master, the dream be to them that hate you, and the interpretation thereof to your enemies. The tree that you saw, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is you, O king, that are grown and become strong, for your greatness is grown, and reaches on to heaven, and your dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw a watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, Hew you the tree down, and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beast of the field, till 7 times pass over them. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my master the king, that they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beast of the field, and they shall make you to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet you with the dew of heaven, and 7 times shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, and gives it to whomsoever he will.
The Most High rules the kingdom of men, and he gives it to whomsoever he will. Now, all of this is a warning. Go ahead.
And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, your kingdom shall be sure unto you. After that you shall have known that the heavens do rule.
Now, wait a minute. He has the entire process. All right? If you do whatever this is, I'm trying to tell you, they're going to drive you, you're going to lose your mind, and 7 times going to pass over you. They're going to be 7 somethings. 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 years, they're going to be 7 somethings. But you're going to have to go through this. He know what's going to happen. He know at least some understanding of how long it's going to happen, and you're going to be restored once you respect the order. Go ahead.
Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto you, and break off your sins by righteousness, and your lawlessness by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of your tranquility. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is this not great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty?
He believes that the work is all his. This is what we do, not knowing that that's what we do. That the work is all mine. It's not this the great situation that I have built. Wait a minute. You don't think Yahweh had nothing to do with that? And whether we know it or not, we end up taking everything that happens with it personally. Because he said, this is the kingdom that I built. Now, you didn't build this by yourself. And with all those warnings, that vanity still crept out. He was able to at least lengthen it 1 year. Go ahead.
While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from you. And they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make you to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you, until you know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives it to whomsoever he will.
So we have to ask the question, how long will it take you to understand that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives whatever he wants to whomever he wants? How long will it take for you to realize that? Go ahead.
The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men, and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like bird's claws. And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me, and I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that lives forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and he does according to his will in the army of heaven.
He does according to his will, not the things that you approve of. Not things that you think ought to be right. He does according to his will, not yours. Go ahead.
And among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand, or say unto him, What does you? At the same time, my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom, mine honor and brightness returned unto me. And my counselors and my masters sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase.
Those that walk in pride, he is able to lower them. Let's go to Genesis chapter 22. How much will he have to do to get us to be abased, to honor things the right way? What all will he have to do to us? Genesis chapter 2, and let's start at verse 1.
And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Esau, whom you loveth, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell you of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass.
Now, your first thing of obedience is right here. Verse 2, take now your son, your only son, Esau, whom you love. First of all, that ain't his only son naturally. He know who he loved, and Yahweh said, wait a minute, if I get you to offer the son that I didn't promise, then that's a blemish sacrifice on my behalf. No. I want you to give me that one that I promised you. We already have a problem with just judgment, and the beginning of our kingdom ain't even began. Yahweh knew to pick a certain man, because let me tell you something. I'm finna ask you to sacrifice something that is dear to you. But Yahweh ain't no hypocrite. He's not going to ask you to do something that he's not going to do. Go ahead.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Esaac his son and clave the wood for the burnt offering and rose up and went on to the place of which Elohim had told him.
Right. He says, go take now your only son, the one who you love, and get into the land of Moriah and offer him therefore a burnt offering. Verse 3 says, and Abraham rose up early. Where was the negotiation? Where was the part where he tried to convince Yahweh about how mistaken he must be because you have made promises to me concerning Esau? So therefore, I don't have to go through this because you was the one that made the promise. It came out of your mouth. Now, verse 3 starts with, and Abraham rose up. He didn't just rise up. It said he rose up early. Y'all know we don't rise up early when someone won't do. Okay, go ahead.
Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young man, abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Esau his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Esau spake unto Abraham his father, and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, behold the fire and the wood. But where's the lamb for a burnt offering?
Uh-huh.
And Abraham said, my son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together.
Now, he don't understand what Yahweh gonna do. This is his faith and his hope that Yahweh will provide something. I know he made promises to you, so I believe he's going to give you back. I don't know how this is going to go. He can't answer that question. And sometimes when you can't answer the question, the people believe that you're not valid. You can't answer that what Yahweh sent you to do because it ain't came to the maturity level yet. He ain't lied to the boy. He can't answer the boy. I don't know. I don't know how Yahweh going to do it, but I know he going to do it. I believe he going to do it. Go ahead.
You just mentioned about, Yahweh didn't ask him to do something he wasn't going to do. They always talk about, or you mentioned several times about how everybody think that Yahshua shows up in the New Testament. And if you look at here, even when he said, he told the helpers to stay here, and me and the boy going to go over there.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't that the same thing Yahshua said, told them the disciples, y'all stay here?
Stay here, and we're going to go yonder and pray. Yeah. Yahweh is very intentional. We just think the stuff just, oh, look at that. Oh, that's interesting. That's peculiar. Go ahead.
And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Esau his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yahweh called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. And he said, lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him. For now I know that you feareth Elohim.
Wait a minute. How he know? He waited to the end. Yahweh's there the whole situation. But he don't just jump in. This is the part that we have to learn. He don't just jump in just because he can. No. Let this mature. It says Elohim is in the end of a thing. We keep looking for Yahweh in the beginning and in the middle. And wonder why we feel alone. Wonder why we don't see Yahweh. Yahweh ain't no, you got to finish that. Yahweh at the finish line. What do you need to be at the starting gate for? If you can't start the race, why should he even waste his time going to the finish line? You need him to hold your hand to start. He's ready to congratulate you with your trophy at the finish line. You looking for him at the starting gate. Go ahead, Prince.
Seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
In the stead of his son. He didn't know Yahweh going to provide himself a lamb for a sacrifice, and Yahweh did. That which he spoke out of faith and fear, Yahweh ended up presenting unto him. Now you have to ask yourself, what things do you speak out of faith and fear? What power are you speaking upon yourself? What he said was going to happen, not knowing it was going to happen, ended up happening. Now consider if we so afraid that we start saying, woe is me, I'm going to die. Wait a minute. Now what if he's actually giving you power? And the power that you condemned yourself with, he must now do it because he gave you the power to do it. Interesting. Go ahead.
Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahweh it shall be seen. And the angel of Yahweh called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, says Yahweh, for because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I will bless you.
Wait a minute. He's choosing him. Even though he had already chose Abraham, Abraham still had to pass the test. Go ahead.
That in blessing I will bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice.
Yeah, but what if he didn't obey the voice? See, Esaac was the gift. But if Abraham elevated the gift over the gift giver, he becomes useless unto his Elohim. Because at that moment, he would be loving his son more than his Elohim. And Yahshua already told us, he that loves father and mother or son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Yahweh and Yahshua are on one accord. Let's go to Matthew chapter 26. Yahshua said he came to deal with his father's business. But because we have been taught from the middle of the book, we think this is Yahshua's business. Not Yahweh's business. That's why the business lines up. Matthew chapter 26 and start at verse 30.
And when they had sung an hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then says Yahshua unto them, All you shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I'm risen again, I'll go before you into Galilee. Cephas answered and said unto him, Though all men shall be offended because of you, yet will I never be offended. Yahshua said unto him, Verily I say unto you, that this night, before the cock crow, you shall deny me 3 times. Cephas said unto him, Though I should die with you, yet will I not deny you. Likewise also said all the disciples. Then comes Yahshua with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and says unto the disciples, Sit you here, while I go and pray yonder.
Ain't that what you were just talking about?
Yes, sir.
You see, verse 36, then comes Yahshua with them into a place called Gethsemane. Matter of fact, let me back up one. Verse 35, Cephas said unto them, Though I should die with you, yet will I not deny you. Likewise also said all the disciples. Everybody say that talk when they in the meeting together. It's like a huddle. All right?
Yeah, we're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it.
Then when you get in the game, you be like, when the whistle blow, everybody froze. What happened? I thought you told me you were going to do such and such.
Well, if I could just get these arms to move. I don't know what happened. I was...
You look like a mascot. What happened? I thought you supposed to been in the game. But when the game started, I heard the whistle blow, and you didn't move. What happened? All right, go ahead.
And he took with him Cephas and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy.
So he is reacting the situation that had been presented before. Go ahead.
Then says he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry you here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.
All right. This is a traumatic situation. Yahweh is telling Abraham before the same things that he was going to have to make his son endure. But he know, look, I can get my son back. You can't get yours back in the same manner. So I'm going to let you go all the way down to the wire before sacrificing him, and then I'm going to stop. But what happens if we don't go far enough? Go ahead.
And he comes unto his disciples, and find them asleep, and says unto Cephas, What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the second time, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them, and went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then comes he to his disciples, and says unto them, Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be gone. Behold, he is at hand that does betray me.
So he understood by asking his father 3 times, and he didn't get an answer. He knew what the answer was. He knows that this is not something that he's going to be able to bypass. He's going to have to go through this suffering. Go to chapter 27 and read verses 24 through 31.
You know, Elder, at the end of verse 45 here, when he says, Sleep on now and take your rest, you know, technically speaking, that's the last rest they're actually going to be able to get when it comes to fighting for this word.
Brother, sometimes Yahweh give you your last rest, and if you knew it was your last rest, you would have rested better. When my elder was gone, I couldn't figure out why the Sabbath wasn't a rest for me no more. So every Sabbath I was going, and I had to pick out bad doctrine. And I was like, that is not what my elder taught. And it was turmoil every Sabbath. And I said, man, when is this? And I'm waiting for it to end. Like this is just going to happen for a time, and then it's going to get better. No, it never got better because I had already got my last rest. When he was laid to rest, I didn't get no more. Because the priests profane the Sabbath and are held blameless. They got to work. I didn't realize that when he died, I clocked in. I wasn't sitting up in the front, so that didn't make no sense to me. But that rest part on the Sabbath, it was gone. So I tell all y'all, enjoy your Sabbath rest. Because one day, you're going to get a time card. And when he give you that time card, know your rest period is over. You will never rest on another Sabbath again. Why? Because it's time to clock in. Priests don't rest. Other people rest. Priests work. These sacrifices ain't sacrificing themselves. These incense ain't burning themselves. This oil ain't pouring itself.
The oil say, you know what, I'm so holy, I'm just going to pour myself.
No! Somebody got to do that. Go ahead.
When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See you to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them. And when he had scourged Yahshua, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahshua into the common hall and gathered onto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Yehudims!
Now, as they are mocking him, they are also fulfilling all the parts of the earlier story. The ram was caught in the thorns, and then they take the thorns and put the thorn of crowns, make a crown of it, and put it on his head. The entire situation that was presented before with Abraham and Esau is the exact situation that is happening with Yahshua. So while they are mocking him, they have brought the same thorns that the ram was caught in. Sometimes you can be doing something and you are fulfilling scripture and have no idea. Go ahead.
And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him.
Now, understand how strong it is for Yahweh to take Abraham all the way down to the wire. Like, wait a minute, man, my son is going to have to go through some very horrible things. My son is going to have to enter into a fleshly body and then get tormented in that body. He has never been in flesh. He's going to have to feel this torture. You can't just let Abraham off easy. Your son representing my son. You representing me. You playing me in this story. You must be valiant. If you wrote a book and you got to figure out, all right, who going to play me? Man, many people have to audition for that part. Just can't anybody just play me. Now, this is my story. I just can't let anybody play me. And then anybody just can't play my son. My son going to go through something. And I need for you to have that struggle. You have to represent what I'm going to have to go through. Because as we talk about all of this, everything that we discuss here is about Yahshua's turmoil. Y'all know we never discussed the turmoil that Yahweh has to deal with watching his son go through it. See, in Abraham's part, we're still focusing on Esaac, who is being the sacrifice. We don't think about the turmoil that this father has to be going through. Not only watching this happen, but being the one who has to do it. We don't even think about it. We think about how powerful, how great Yahweh is, but we never wonder, if he has emotion, then he must have sorrow. How must this feel? We don't stop to ask those questions. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9. Ezekiel 9, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. And, behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lies toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. And the glory of Elohim of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the man that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Wait a minute. These are people who have made themselves uncomfortable because they've spoken out about what's happening. They don't like what is happening, and they're speaking out, but by doing that, they're also putting themselves in harm's way. And Yahweh wants to specifically know, who are all those people who will speak out? Mark those people and set them aside for me. I have a special use for those people. Go ahead.
And to others he said in mine hearing, Go you after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
Right. See, Yahweh don't do like we do. Yahweh say start at my house. We say start at your house. Yahweh is doing exactly what he did in the beginning. He's not telling Abraham to do something that he's not going to do. And we don't consider that when we go out and get advice from the world. We go out and get advice from the world. We don't ask, people, all right, did you try that? Because you mess around and folks say, yeah, man, you need to go to your woman and tell her, sit down and shut up. He said, well, you know what? How that work in your house?
Well, I ain't doing that in my house. See, I like cuddle time.
Well, damn it, I like cuddle time too. See, now you downstairs with a sharp blanket. And the person that told you to do that is having cuddle time. Right. Congratulations. You didn't ask the right questions. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Defile the house, and fill the courts with the slain. Go you forth. And they went forth, and slew in the city. And it came to pass, while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face, and cried, and said, Ah, Adonai, will you destroy all the residue of Israel in your pouring out of the fury upon Jerusalem? Then said he unto me, The lawlessness of the house of Israel and Yehuda is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, Yahweh has forsaken the earth, and Yahweh sees not. And as for me also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. And, behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as you have commanded me.
The greatest word, I have done as you have commanded me. He didn't follow his heart. People keep making this thing sound so great when you follow your heart. He followed his instructions. I have done as you have commanded me. He didn't say, you know what, go down there. You know what I'm saying? And just fill it out. What does your heart tell you, O angel of Yahweh? No. He had instructions. And at the end of the instructions, he said, I did what you told me to do. Okay. Let's go to Matthew chapter 23. You have to understand, it's men's heart that's about to lead us in the next set of wars. While we out trying to discover our heart, they're doing the same thing. But the discovering of their heart is going to lead a lot of people to the grave. And just because us discovering ours doesn't lead anybody to the grave right away, we think ours is less volatile. Matthew 23, and let's start at verse 1.
Then spake Yahshua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moshe's seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not you after their works, for they say and do not.
Wait a minute. They have great power because of where they sit. They sit in Moshe's seat, which means they have authority. But don't do what they do. Because they tell you the right thing, but they're not going to do the right thing. So be careful what you watch. Because you may be thinking because they can say the right thing, that when you see them do something, that must be right. That ain't right. But you notice, Yahshua said they sit in Moshe's seat.
So why don't you go up there and tell them that they ain't about nothing?
Why ain't telling that?
Go up there and tell them that they fake, man. Tell them what you
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You still gonna respect the seat. I don't give a damn how you feel. You're gonna respect the seat. He said they sit in Moshe's seat. But they ain't doing what they supposed to do. So pay attention to what they read. Don't pay attention to what they do. Go ahead.
For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers.
In other words, they still had cuddle time at the house. While they putting burdens on other people, do this, do that. They said, don't watch that. But that word they read, that word is real. Because, we have a real problem with throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We have a real problem. All we need to do is find one thing we don't like. And now the whole Bible went in the trash. Go ahead.
But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. And love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
But be not you called Rabbi, for one is your master, even the Mashiach, and all you are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven. Neither be you called masters, for one is your master, even the Mashiach. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant, and whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer you them that are entering to go in.
Now, we have to consider something now. We are promoted as a Christian nation. And then go about in the world to do a lot of deeds. Block all of those individuals from doing things, but then they're not doing the same thing. Now you have to understand what that means. We have even gone into conflict claiming the power of the Christian belief. All right, go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make them twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Woe unto you, you blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing, but whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. You fools and blind. For whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifies the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing, but whosoever swears by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. You fools and blind. For whether is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifies the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar, swears by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple, swears by it, and by him that dwells therein. And he that shall swear by heaven, swears by the throne of Elohim, and by him that sits thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought you to have done, and not to leave the other undone. You blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. You blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
Clean first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. You can't clean a whited sepulcher because at the inside of it is dead man's bones. So you're talking about how clean the outside is, but what's happening in the inside of it? These are the things that Yahweh then looks at concerning us. And when we approach him, we have to consider, how is he going to answer us? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5. See, we have to remember, Yahweh is in the end of a thing. So if we're waiting to get all the understanding before we start, we're never going to start. And if we can only follow the instructions that we completely understand, we ain't never going to follow. Yahweh is not on the level of man. So by the time he has to go through explaining it to us, we done already missed the opportunity. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and start at verse 1.
Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren. The elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters, with all purity. Honor widows that are widows indeed. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home, and to requite their parents. For that is good and acceptable before Elohim.
All right, it says, rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father. And then in verse 2, the elder women as mothers. There are responsibilities, though, that go along with that respect and honor. You don't just have that and then you have it and you can do anything with it. That's not how that works. Go ahead.
Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate, trust in Elohim, and continues in supplications and prayers night and day. But she that lives in pleasure is dead while she lives. And these things give in charge, that they may be blameless. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Do
not
we consider that our house, that goes on two levels? We have the house that we have naturally, and then we have the house that Yahweh has given us spiritually. Do you provide for those in it? What if then Yahweh then looks at us and said, you worse than an infidel? Why? Because he said, I saw you go out there and give money and spend it for that, but you didn't take care of none of the people in your own house. See, we look at things the way we see it. You ever pause for a minute and try to ask yourself, how does Yahweh see this? Go ahead.
Let not a widow be taken into the number under 80 years old, having been the wife of one man, well reported of for good works, if she has brought up children, if she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet, if she have relieved the afflicted, if she have diligently followed every good work. But the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Yahshua, they will marry, having damnation, because they have cast off their first faith.
Jump to verse 17.
Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. For the scripture says, you shall not muzzle the ox that treads out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward.
So then what are they talking about? Verse 17, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word. The very next verse say, for the scripture says, you shall not muzzle the ox that treads out the corn. The muzzle goes around the mouth. So then it says that because this elder that has ruled well has double honor, they're able to say some things with their mouth. But how far does that go? Go ahead.
Against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses. Them that sin rebuke before all, that others also may fear.
Right. Yahweh don't keep everything private all the time. He gives us opportunity. But sooner or later, that situation has to be dealt with publicly. Let's go to Acts chapter 23. Yahweh sits back and allows some things to take place, but eventually it must come to a head. And it says, rebuke them that sin before all, so that others may learn to fear. it may be a situation that that individual may never learn. But the other people who watch will learn, oh, I ain't doing that. Acts 23, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
And Saul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before Elohim until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by to smite him on the mouth.
What? They didn't like the statement. And Saul, earnestly beholding the council, and said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before Elohim until this day. They felt like that was a bold statement. And the high priest commanded them that they that stood by should hit him in the mouth. Go ahead.
Then said Saul unto him, Elohim shall smite you, you whited wall. For sitteth you to judge me after the law, and commandeth me to be smitten contrary to the law?
So Saul went right in. He knows that word. And he was like, oh, no. You commanded me to be smitten against the law. And then he called him, you whited wall. Wait a minute. Now. We just talked about these whited sepulchres that had the dead bodies in it. So he made quite a statement here. Go ahead.
They that stood by said, Revile you Elohim's high priest?
Now he just realized the authority level of the individual whom he has insulted. Now, Saul was right about the law part. Now, let's see how much time he spends talking about how much he was right. All right, you count the seconds. All right, you ready to go?
Then said Saul, I knew not, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, You shall not speak evil to the ruler of your people.
Stop. So how much time did he spend saying he was right? He automatically backed up. Wait a minute. I didn't know he was the high priest. I didn't know that. It is written. Then he even mentions the law that he broke. Okay. Read.
When Saul perceived that the one part were Sadducees and the other Pharisees,
Uh-huh.
he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I'm a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee. Of the hope and resurrection of the dead, I am called in question.
Uh-huh. So, but when he had perceived that one part was Sadducees and the other part was Pharisees, he cried out in the council. What did he do? He said, I'm going to have to take another approach. Look, regardless as to what I think, feel, and believe, this man is a priest, and I must give him the respect that he deserves. I don't give a damn how I feel. He stopped immediately and figured out another approach. I apologize. I didn't know that he was a high priest. For it is written, you shall not speak evil of the ruler of your people. I was wrong. Then he kept looking. Wait a minute. Some of them Pharisees, some of them Sadducees, because he is now dwelling according to knowledge. See, when you operate out of your heart and your feelings, you're going to keep going here with a whole bunch of what I think, what I feel, and what I believe. But what he's going to deal with now is according to knowledge. He then examines the situation. And because he knows the Pharisees believe in one thing, the Sadducees believe in something else, this is now my new approach. Instead of following my heart, I'm going to deal with this according to knowledge. Go ahead. You start back at verse 6.
Verse 6. And when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided.
Uh-huh. He knew they was already divided because one believed in resurrection and the other one does not. So rather than following his heart and say, I'm going to out-talk y'all, I'm going to be that, I am going to deal with this situation according to knowledge. And now Yahweh deal with his wife. He deal with Israel according to knowledge. He ain't always out there telling you about what he think, what he feel, and what he believe. Go ahead.
For the Sadducees say there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both.
Now, wasn't that a better approach than to sit there and try to argue with the priest? Go ahead.
And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees' part arose and strove, saying, We find no evil in this man. But if a spirit of an angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
And when there arose a great dissension, the chief captain, fearing lest Saul should have been pulled in pieces of them, commanded the soldiers to go down and to take him by force from among them and to bring him into the castle.
Now, understand something. No doubt, if he had kept going with that insulting of that priest, they all would have been on one accord to destroy him. But because he stepped back, regathered himself, and dealt with what he knew according to knowledge, now half of them that were fighting against him is now fighting for him. Now they can't figure out how to destroy him because they are no longer together in his destruction. But do know of a surety, if he kept going at that priest, they would have all gathered together and he would have been destroyed that day. So, you going to deal with it by your heart or you going to deal with it according to knowledge? Keep letting people tell you about following your heart. Your heart going to lead you right to your gravesite. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 14. Ezekiel 14, and let's start that at verse 1.
Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto him, and sat before me. Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto me, and sat before me. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up their idols in their heart, and put the stumbling block of their lawlessness before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them?
Now, how do you prove to somebody that they have set a stumbling block in their heart? Tell me how you find out. When you go to try to deal with that, tell me how you prove it. Now, how does Yahweh know? They ain't committed it yet. How do you prove such an action? Go ahead.
Therefore speak unto them, and say unto them.
Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. You want me to go speak to them about something they got in their heart, but they ain't did it yet? Go ahead.
Therefore speak unto them, and say unto them, Thus says the Adonai Elohim, every man of the house of Israel that sets up his idol in his heart and puts the stumbling block of his lawlessness before his face.
Wait a minute. The idol that's in his heart may very well become the stumbling block before his face. But it go in the heart first. Then it become a stumbling block that then makes you fall. But when does it become real to us? When we hit the floor or when it got in your heart? Go ahead.
And comes to the prophet. I, Yahweh, will answer him that comes according to the multitude of his idols, that I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. Therefore say it unto the house of Israel, Thus says the Adonai Elohim, Repent and turn yourselves from your idols, and turn away your faces from all your abominations. For every one of the house of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourns in Israel, who separates himself from me, and sets up his idols in his heart, and puts the stumbling block of his lawlessness before his face, and comes to a prophet to inquire of him concerning me, I, Yahweh, will answer him by myself.
Wait a minute. He says, I'm going to answer him by myself. What does that entail? Do we believe that Yahweh is going to come out of the heavens to speak to that individual? Yahweh said, no. I am going to answer him. And the question is, how is he going to answer? Go ahead.
Now set my face against that man. I will make him a sign and a proverb, and I'll cut him off from the midst of my people, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. And if the prophet be deceived when he has spoken a thing, I, Yahweh, have deceived that prophet, and I'll stretch out my hand upon him, and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of their lawlessness, the punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeks unto him.
Uh-huh.
That the
So
house,
he that leads, those that follow the blind gonna be in the same ditch as the blind person that led him in the ditch. Go ahead.
that the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their Elohim, says the Adonai Elohim.
All right. And let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 22. See, you know, when life is going good, we're not really calling on Yahweh. See, some of us don't pray for months on end. Everything going good. You don't have no reason to pray. But then it's going to come a point where we got to call on our Elohim. Now, the question is going to be, how is he going to answer you? And what will you recognize in the answer that it is given unto you? 2 Samuel 22, and let's start at verse 1.
And David spake unto Yahweh the words of this song in the day that Yahweh had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies and out of the hand of Saul.
All right, so when you are first delivered, what do you do? When Yahweh delivered him, he wrote something as a memorial for the great deed that Yahweh had done. Go ahead.
And he said, Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer.
So the beginning of his song was not about how great of a king he was. It was about how great his Elohim was. Go ahead.
The El of my rock. In him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge, my Savior. You saveth me from violence. I will call on Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Yahweh and cried to my Elohim, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. And the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook because he was angry.
So when we're in trouble, who do we call upon? He says, when I was in trouble, I called upon my Elohim and he heard me. Who are we calling? Okay, go ahead.
There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode up on a cherub, and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters, and thick clouds of the skies. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. Yahweh thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them. And the channels of the sea appeared, the foundations of the world were discovered, at the rebuking of Yah, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, for Yahweh was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me, because he delighted in me. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands, as he recompensed me.
Now, this doesn't mean that your hands are always clean. The question is, when they get dirty, do you have sense enough to go wash them, and do you know how? Or you just operate perpetually with dirty hands? Go ahead.
For I have kept the ways of Yahweh, and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and have kept myself from mine lawlessness. Therefore, Yahweh has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanness in his eyesight. With the merciful, you will show yourself merciful.
All right. How have we been? How is he going to answer you? Go ahead and seek out your Elohim, but ask yourself a question. How is he going to answer you? Is he going to answer you with mercy because you have shown just that? Go ahead.
And with the upright man, you will show yourself upright. With the pure, you will show yourself pure. And with the froward, you will show yourself unsavory.
So if you get an unsavory answer from Yahweh or an unsavory direction, understand what you have been. As it is written, you shall reap what you have sown. Whatever you planted, that's what's going to grow. So you put out darkness and mayhem, and when you pray, he's going to answer you in darkness and mayhem. And guess what? It will be all a sanctified darkness. It was a set-apart darkness just for you. Is that what we want? See, when we pray, we want to receive deliverance. We want to receive mercy. All right? How much of that have we put off in the earth? You can't make withdrawals if you have not made any deposits. Now, somehow we can understand that financially. But spiritually, we seem to be very uneducated about our spiritual portfolio. We know about all our investments for our retirement. But what you got for your spiritual retirement plan? That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.